the stretch. So how did that benefit you?
Yeah, I feel like it benefited me a lot in terms of, I'll say, different aspects of my game, whether it be feet, hand usage, working out in space. Because, there are other times at guard where if you're a guard, there's still going to be a D in on you. Like, guys can come out in a rushman package or a sack package or anything like that. So, I think the experience helped in terms of how I viewed the game.
How did that conversation go with coaches when Simmons went down that made you pick outside?
Yeah, so when Josh initially got hurt, and then Zen Maholsky went in when he unfortunately got hurt as well, Coach Fry came up to me. He was like, "Look, man, like, I know we always joke because we always joked about, oh, you're gonna have to play tackle." I was like, "No, I'm not." But but when the conversation finally came, like, "Look, like, we need you to kick out the tackle for this big week, playing a big team." So it was a lot to think about. He weighed the pros and the cons of the decision, but at the end of the day, like, I just like winning more than anything else, and I felt like if me moving outside would help us win, because I think this happened around like week 7, so there's still a lot of football ahead of us. So I just like winning more than anything else. So I knew that I had a lot of work to do. I practiced against 2 amazing edge rushers every day, so I had no choice but to get better.
You talk about how winning means everything to you, and we have a lot of Ohio State people here. What does it mean that you got to be a Buckeye and be able to bring a national championship to the points?
Yeah, being a Buckeye meant everything to me. Growing up, my parents, growing up in Texas at least, my parents always asked me, "Are you like there are 2 major teams in Texas?" But my parents are like, "Nah." Like, my mom's a huge Ohio State fan. She's like, "Nah, you're a Buckeye." And I was like, "Oh, okay, Mom." But then eventually the time came for me to make a college decision. I chose Ohio State. And, scarlet and gray means everything to me. The university, the state, the guys I played with, I bled with, sweated with, cried with. It means everything. It's so deep in my heart, deep ingrained in my heart, that my time at Ohio State was a huge development factor in who I am today.
Did you feel like your game works best with a wide zone scheme, gap scheme? Any preference?
I feel like we ran a lot of inside and gap scheme this year, but in years past, especially my sophomore year, we were in a lot of outside zone as well. So all schemes I feel like I excel pretty well in. There's not one that sticks out more than the other. I just have fun playing football, just balling with my bros on the line.
And did you meet the Seahawks this week?
I did.
How'd that conversation go?
It went really well. The coaching staff was, I would say, amazing. We just had a great conversation and just talked ball. I think it was really cool.
Did you meet with the Steelers?
I did not.
How about the Buccaneers? Have you met with them?
No.
What teams have you had formals with?
What teams have I had?
Yeah. Formal.
Seattle, Detroit, Minnesota. I'm missing one on that first day. Seattle, Detroit, Minnesota. Then Chicago, Arizona. I could pull out my phone and tell you. I think I had like a total of 15.
Who's a player you really respect on the offensive line? You like their game?
And the league?
Yeah.
I respect obviously guys who do it at a high level and do it very efficiently. So at the guards, you can't go wrong with Zach Martin, his illustrious career that he's had, and the way he carried the position to where it is today. Chris Lindstrom, very physical guard, and he really gets after it. And then tackles, you gotta go with Trent, Deion Dawkins. He's advocating for the position. Love that. You gotta go with Lane and Mailata. 2 monsters on the edge who hold it down for the Eagles. There's so many good linemen in the league that are elevating and putting the spotlight on the position offensive line.
Do you think your time at tackle ultimately helped kind of raise your stock a little bit for the way teams see you?
Yeah, I think my time at tackle certainly didn't hurt. It shows that my versatility a little bit, shows my athleticism as well. So I feel like it certainly helped.
Who are some of the younger guys that are kind of filling in, at Ohio State, the guys that are leaving? There's some who play a big role down the stretch. Who are some guys that maybe we haven't seen a ton of yet that have a good season in the coming year?
Yeah, so the guys haven't seen. Obviously, Luke balled out in the playoffs. I just know he's going to continue it throughout the season. Carson stepped in when we had other injuries and didn't miss a beat. Tegra had a great first year, and I know he's just going to continue to grow. But guys we haven't seen, I think Josh Padilla is going to be really good. Josh Padilla, Ian Moore. Ian Moore's a guy who near the end of his freshman year started to figure it out, and you could see him starting to figure it out throughout practice. I feel like he's going to have a really good career at Ohio State.
Were you surprised that the guard rotation worked as well as it did?
No. I wasn't surprised. I knew what all those guys were capable of. I think when I realized that, oh my gosh, this is really gonna work for sure. Like when we first introduced the guard rotation, like guys coming in and out in practice, I was like, oh, I don't know. Like you guys gotta get a rhythm here. But when we were playing Tennessee and like I was playing next to Sarabelle, I was playing next to Luke, and both those guys were just balling. I was like, man, this is a great idea. Like. I believed in this from the start, but yeah, I mean, like all those guys that rotated in to help us win the obviously the big one at the end. They had played an amazing job playing top-notch football. Why did it work? Because especially speaking as offensive line, we just played with a chip on our shoulder. Every game we just remembered where we were at the end of the season, and every game we just kept reminding ourselves what people said about us. I believe when we were announced for the playoffs, people were like, oh man, that Tennessee front's gonna run through Ohio State's offensive line, and so that and then other people were saying, man, I really hope they don't have a home game in the shoe because they're going to boo the Buckeyes out of there. So just those clips were just running through our head, just cycling through and through to the point where just we knew we had to play better.
Donovan, do you have a favorite moment memory from that championship?
Besides the confetti falling at the end, I would have to say I'll say the Cotton Bowl. That was a fantastic team we went against. We knew coming into that game it was going to be a fight. So just coming out of that fight, on top was a huge thing for our team. And going into the next game, just gaining more confidence.
In your home state, make it a little more special.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Being back home in Texas, man, it was a great feeling.
What's a part of scoop is
My biggest advice was just be myself.
The test you had immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I look back on it and see how much I've grown from then. I had a 4 days notice to learn how to play tackle. So, just seeing how I set, seeing how I did everything then to now, I sometimes look back on it and see, just kind of appreciate how much I've grown and just renew myself of there's still so much to do.
How important was that game for the offensive line? Just in check, dealing with the adversity, getting through it, winning that.
Yeah, it was huge for us, obviously, as a team to win that game. Obviously, a great opponent that we went against, but it was big for the offensive line, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter with our heels essentially in their end zone to drive the ball out and try to run the clock out to win the game.
Now to go back to the cotton football, what was going through your mind during this game?